guys, I'm Retro Critic here, and today I'll be reviewing season 7 of Thomas the Tank Engine. Now, in this season, hi guys, and I'm Retro Critic here, and today I'll be reviewing and talking about season 7 of Thomas the Tank Engine. So, okay, so season 7 was where I think it was still called Galen Entertainment, but this was where Hit Entertainment bought Galen, and it was still Galen, but also officially under Hit, you know. Now, around this season, and this is the last season where David Min directs season 7, Michael Jr. Campbell, I think this is the last season Michael Jr. Campbell. Now, the background of this season, the history of the season. So, season 7 was still under Galen Entertainment. Galen actually made and produced this season, and season 7, Hit Entertainment actually already bought Galen around the time season 7 came out, so season 7 was also under the Hit Entertainment banner, because it was still made by Galen Entertainment, and still was made by Galen Entertainment. It's just that the problem was around that time, Hit Entertainment already bought Galen. The problem was Hit Entertainment already bought Galen Entertainment right when season 7 came out. And season 7 came out still under Galen, but Hit actually officially season 7 came under Hit Entertainment, because you see the problem was season 7 came out officially under Hit Entertainment was releasing it on DVD and TV. So that's kind of the weird issue there. It was kind of weird the way it came out in the US. But look, so here's the thing. Now the UK dub was fine. The UK version of Thomas Tank Engine was consistent and it was fine. It was alright. But when Thomas Tank Engine came to the US, it had a weird start. It was really weird when it came here in the US. Okay, it was really weird. So, like I said, now the UK version of Thomas Tank Engine was fine. The UK version of season 7 was fine. In the US, it was weird. When it came to the US, it was strange, because the US version of season 7 was fine. The US version of season 7 was actually normal. The UK version of season 7 was actually pretty normal and consistent. Now, the US version of season 7 was weird. It was weird when it first came out in the US. It was weird. It was really weird when it first came out in the US, because it had a strange when it came to the US. It was really strange when it came. So now, season 7 had a really strange release when it came out in the US. So, just to let you know about that. And this is where I first heard Michelangelo in that, Thomas and Friends, this is where they started calling it Thomas and Friends. Not Thomas Tank Engine and Friends. That was fine. But Thomas and Friends, oh geez, okay. Because you even get a little bit of Michael Brandon and, the Thomas, okay. Because in the, New Friends for, because season 7, I first heard of season 7 from the New Friends for Thomas VHS tape with Michael Angelis in it, and the New Friends for Thomas was the first official of season 7. So, by the way, yes, the New Friends for Thomas VHS tape was the first, time Thomas Tank. It was the first time season 7 was released in the U.S. Just to let you know. The second was Thomas and the Jet. And the New Friends for Thomas VHS tape was the first time I was introduced to Michael Angelis, where Michael Angelis, similar to Ringo, did a U.S. dub. So that was interesting. And it was where, for the first time, and Michael Brandon did his early U.S. dub for. Okay, we'll get to that. But look, because Michael Angelis sounded really weird. I'm not a big fan of his voice, but this is weird. Because like Ringo Starr, Michael Angelis did a U.S. dub of season 7. So it's interesting to see Michael Angelis doing a U.S. dub for season 7, and he had to change some phrases and all that stuff. So it was interesting watching that. He had to change certain words and all that stuff. And the second release of season 7 was technically Thomas Jet Engine, because in the Thomas Jet Engine VHS tape, it had some Michael Brandon episodes where Michael Brandon narrates where it was weird. It was a season 6 VHS tape where it has some season 6 episodes, but it also has some season 7 episodes where Michael Brandon narrated some season 7 episodes in a season 6 DVD VHS. It was really weird. In the Thomas Jet Engine VHS tape, it had some season 6 episodes, but also some season 7 episodes. It was interesting. It was really interesting to say at least. Well, that's where season 7 had a rocky start, and that's where season 7 had a rocky start, and that's pretty much it. But look, and that's where season 7 had a rocky start, but then it became consistently, it was narrated by Michael Brandon, his early narration, okay, and he still does that Hitchcock voice. And so, like I said, you get early Michael Brandon voices. So, like I said, you get the narrator, you get Michael Brandon, and I give this season a 7 out of 10, but it's a nice David Min directed this season. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Mike and Jr. did the score for this season, and they were phenomenal. This was I think Mike and Jr.'s last, score for this season. So Mike and Junior still did the score for this season, so that's really cool. And this was Mike and Junior's last time they would do the score for this season, and this is where they did the score for this season. So, you know, that's the last time, and after that they departed. But honestly, as a good send-off, it was a good kind of, I really like that. Because afterwards they kind of departed and left the show after season 7. But honestly, as a final, this was a good send off to scores. So as a final last time they would do the score for the season, it honestly was a good send off. No, I forgot to mention that, you know, Mike and Junior did the score for this season, and it's the last time they would do the score for this season because after that they departed and they left. So Mike and Junior still did the score for this season, and afterwards they kind of left and departed the show. But as a send-off, it was really good. It was the last time they would see, but it was really good. They left the show afterwards, but now it's the final time they would do this. It was the last time they would do the score for the season. But afterwards they left. Afterwards, Mike and Junior kind of left the show. But it's the last time they would do the score for the season. But as a good last time, it's a good send off, and they were really good. A great score. And as the last time of them doing the score for the season, I mean, as a send off, it was really good of their score. So they did a really good. They had a fantastic score in this season. They had a really good score in this season. They had an amazing, fantastic score in this season. They had amazing scores. So they had an amazing score in this season of season 7. And David Min directed this season. And this was the last time David Min would direct. David Min directed this season still. And this is the last time David Min would direct any Thomas season after this, because this is the last time. But this is a good send off. So this is the last time he basically would direct any Thomas season after this. So this was his last season of directing the show. This was the last time he directed anything part of the show. I think he did a little bit, stayed on for season 8. I think he did a little bit, helped out in season 8, but that was it. But overall, as the last time for him directing, it was a good send-off. So it was a good final send-off of his direction. It was a good send-off of David's direction of this season. And that's pretty much it. And what episodes I like? Okay, so in terms of what episodes I like the Spencer episode and the Bulgy episode, and that's it. That's all I'll say. I like the Spencer episode and the Bulgy episode, and that's it. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Now, narrators. So now let's get into the narrators. So this is the first season that we were introduced to Michael Brandon. Alec Baldwin left the series, so Michael Brandon, so he replaced Alec Baldwin, of course. So Michael Brandon replaced Alec Baldwin after Alec Baldwin had a departure from the show. Michael Brandon, oh god, now he did terrible voices. I'm not a Michael Brandon fan. No, he is. He's laughably bad. To be fair, I think he at least tries, or he's trying it for a bad script he's given, I guess. He's like, look, because Michael Brandon, I'm not a big fan of Michael Brandon. I think Michael Brandon was terrible this season. Well, he's terrible when we get to later. No, he's terrible in this season as we get to later seasons. I mean, he's terrible by comparison as we get to later seasons. He was okay. Like, he's terrible by comparison when we get to later seasons, because he gets way worse later seasons. So he comes off decent in this season. So, Jesus. But his voices for characters were awful. All his voices for characters were terrible. And you can kind of say that he was, like, laughably bad. Now Michael Brandon was, like, laughably bad in this season. And you can kind of say that Michael Brandon was like trying his best when he was given a bad script. He was trying to like do his best when he was given a bad script. He was trying to do his best when he had to deal with a bad script. You're making trying to put his own in a bad script. You know what I mean? It was God. So you can tell he was trying, but like to be fair to him, you can tell he was trying his best of what he was given. You can tell he was trying his best of what he was given. But oh Jesus, I can't stand it. It was so awful. But moving on from that, then was Michael Angelis, and Michael Angelis is no different. For some reason, his voice sounded way monotone. Like they toned down his voice in this season. He was like they lowered down. For some reason, they lowered down his voice. They changed. They made it more monotone. It's not energetic. Because Michael Angelis was no different. Like for some reason, they told Michael Angelis to monotone his voice and make him sound slow and what happened? He had an energetic. Because look, for some reason, somebody told Michael Angelis to lower down his voice, tone down his voice. And Angelis has more of a monotone voice in this season, monotone narration this season. It's a more monotone narration this season. And for some reason, he just sounds slow. He sounds slow and tired. And I don't know why. It was just weird. He's what happened to him? In season 6, he had an energetic voice. And the first 4 seasons he did, he had an enthusiastic voice in the previous. He had a enthusiastic voice in the enthusiastic voice of the previous seasons he narrated. So yeah, what happened here? He sounded really good in season 6. In the previous seasons, he sounded really great. What happened here? Oh God, it was ridiculous. But Michael Angelis was also kind of terrible in my opinion. I couldn't stand him. It makes me prefer. Michael Angelis was terrible in my opinion in this season. I couldn't stand him in this season, to be honest. I just couldn't. It was awful, but it makes me want to like listen to Brandon's narration by comparison. Oh God. But okay, I would say I would say maybe I prefer Brandon. I would say maybe Angeles, but really in the end of the day, I would kind of say like really Michael Brandon's the winner of this season of best narrator in my opinion. So okay, sure, there's that. I would say Michael Brandon is slightly better, but it's a tie in my opinion because they're just. It's a tie in my opinion because they're both equally terrible. But I digress, they're so terrible, god awful. But Brandon, but I would slightly prefer Brandon this season.
So I'm going to do a voice narrator comparison between Michael Angelis and Michael Brandon, and I'm going to compare and contrast the voice narrators of Michael Angelis and Michael Brandon. So here we go.
Who are you? This is Spencer. He's the fastest engine in the world.
Who are you?
This is Spencer. He's the fastest engine in the world.
My very own medal, said Thomas. Thank you.
3 cheers for Thomas, the #1 engine. But I still won the race, tooted Bertie.
Thomas just peeped happily.
My very own medal, said Thomas. Thank you. 3 cheers for Thomas, the #1 engine. Hip, hip, hooray!
But I still won the race, tooted Bertie. Thomas just peeped happily.
So that was my voice narrator comparison between Michael Angelis and Michael Brandon, where I compare and contrast the voice narrators of Michael Angelis and Michael Brandon. Now, I'm just going to say right off the bat, Michael Brandon is the winner of this season. He's way more better than Michael Angelis in this season. Michael Angelis was not good in this season. Michael Angelis is somewhat tolerable in this season. He's somewhat tolerable in this season. But Michael Angelis is just a step down quality in this season. But Michael Brandon is not that good, but he's the lesser of two evils. Okay, he's somewhat horrible in this season, okay? But that's kind of about it. He's horrible in this season, and he's just alright. So, in the end of the day, I just kind of prefer Michael Brandon here in this season. So, that's why Michael Brandon is the winner in this season. Winner for best narrator. Winner for best narrator of this season.
Okay, so that's kind of all I gotta say. I got nothing much more to say. I give season 7 a 7 out of 10 because there was some good episodes. There was some. I do like 3 Cheers to Thomas. That was a good send-off of the classic series, and I do like. I do like the Fergus episode. I really do like the Fergus episode, and I do like 3 Cheers for Thomas. 3 Cheers for Thomas was good, and I do like the 3 Cheers for Thomas episode. 3 Cheers for Thomas was like a good send-off of the classic series of Thomas Tank. It was a good send-off of the classic series of Thomas Tank Engine. So that's what I really like about that. So overall, guys, I give season 7 of Thomas Tank Engine a 7 out of 10. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that. That's kind of all I gotta say. Those are my thoughts on that.
Now, here's some honorable mentions of my favorite episodes of season 7 of Thomas Tank Engine. And these honorable mentions do not come in any particular order, so let's go. So my first honorable mention is Peace and Quiet. This is an alright episode. My second honorable mention is Emily's New Coaches. That's a decent episode. Another honorable mention is Percy Gets It Right. That's a pretty decent episode. Another honorable mention is Something Fishy. That's a pretty decent one. Another honorable mention is Gordon and Spencer. That's a really good one. And those were my honorable mentions of my favorite episodes of season 7 of Thomas Tank Engine. And those are my honorable mentions. Now, here are my top 5 favorite episodes of season 7 of Thomas Tank Engine. And these episodes do not go in any particular order. So, let's go. So, my number 5 is Salty's Stormy Tale. My number 4 is The Spotless Record. My number 3 is Snow Engine. My number 2 is Bulgy Rides Again. And my number 1 is 3 Cheers for Thomas. And that was my top 5 favorite episodes of season 7 of Thomas Tank Engine. And those were my top 5 favorite episodes.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Those are my thoughts on that. So those are my thoughts of season 7 of Thomas Tank Engine, and that's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say, and guys, I'm Retro Critic, and I'm out. And I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys next time, and I'll see you guys around, and peace out, and bye.